So, meta campaign structure, it actually doesn't really have that much effect at the beginning when you're testing. Let me explain. Every time you launch a new store, this is probably you. You have no idea whether to run a CBO, ABO, Advantage Plus. There's so much information out there on Twitter and YouTube on how you should do it. The way that I see things is I don't like to talk in absolutes. I'm going to give you my personal experience, and from what I've learned over the past year and a half inside ecom, I know that creative is always going to be the most important. I always say this to people that I work with and inside our school community, that a shit account structure but you have amazing creatives can always scale no matter what, because the placement is going to be going towards Facebook. Of course there is an optimal way of doing so, and at scale you want your campaign structures to be good, but if you have an amazing account structure but shit creatives, you're always going to have bad performance no matter what, no matter how good you set it up, no matter if you use the perfect settings, Advantage Plus, all this shit. It's actually not going to really matter. Creative is always going to be the biggest lever for everyone at the beginning. But if I was going to run a test, this is how I would do it. I like to keep things very, very simple. We always do one CBO per country, but if you are running on a smaller budget and you want to test multiple markets, I'm more than open to doing top 5 inside one CBO, and then figuring out over the first 3 days when you run the test to figure out where is the spend going to, what markets perform best, what gives me the best CPA, ROAS, etc, etc. And then from there, say it's the UK market, you could double down on that and then focus on that, launch a new CBO with your winning creatives and then go from there. In terms of the structure, like I said, CBO, and then we do it angle per ad set, so ad set 1, ad set 2, 3 and 4. Inside each of these, I'm just using this as a way to track data. Each of these should have their own angle or customer persona that you're going to target, and then within each ad set you're going to have ad creatives that are related to this angle. So for example, say we've got 5 static designs and they're inside a flex with different headline variation at the top. All of these are going to be related to angle 1. Same for 2, same for 3 and 4. In terms of videos, I'll do a lot of TikTok shop videos with some captions and maybe different text on screen hooks, which again are going to be related to this angle here. So like I said here, TikTok shop videos, no edits. I'll maybe have 3 to 5 of them, 3 to 5 static designs, and then inside the AI voiceovers, I'm going to go for pain point heavy, problem solution, story ads, TikTok comment replies, ugly ads, which are basically just text on screen, no voiceover, and some music going through the features, problems that it solves, etc, etc. And I'll have as many creatives inside each ad set as possible. I'll let this run for 3 days and then figure out where the spend is going to, so I can then double down on that and then make more creatives based on the winning angle. A lot of people say to me that you could have too many ads inside an ad set and your spend is just going to get diluted between all of these. I'm of the opinion that I like to think that Facebook has control. If you give Facebook more creatives to play with, you're going to have more of a chance of getting success essentially. If you have 5 ads compared to 50, how on earth can this ever be worse than 5? More creatives, the better. Facebook and Instagram are content-based platforms. If you provide it with good content that people enjoy watching, Facebook is going to give you lower CPMs and better results overall. So as I said, I like to have at least 3 to 5 of these, 3 to 5 of static designs, and then 5 AI voiceovers, ideally for every single ad set. And I know this might seem a lot at the beginning, but number one, you're going to learn how to make creatives better. If you look at your competitors on Ad Library, study how they structure the ads, the pacing, the type of captions they use, the type of creators they use. All of this is super important at the beginning when you're just starting your ecom journey, because you're more so just putting in the reps and understanding how to use CapCut and other platforms like 11 Labs, ChatGPT to actually make creatives that people enjoy watching. So this might seem a lot, and you might be thinking, I just want to run a test 5-10 creatives and see how it goes. I think that you're actually better off spending more time getting all of this in place before you run a test, or you could actually think at the back of your mind after spending 3-4 days running a product, did I actually have enough ads? Did I put my all into this? If not, you'll have that thought at the back of your mind. So I always like to have a lot of creatives in the beginning, even 30, 40 creatives, something like that. And like I said, this is how we set it up. angle per ad set. Inside each of these, we have the creatives related to that ad set. The ad account setup, like I said, CBO per country, multiple ad sets targeting different angles or customer avatars, £30 to £50 budget per day, but if you've got more of a budget to spend, you can go 50 to 100, doesn't really matter. It just means that you're going to get the data quicker and you can figure out if this product actually has potential or not. But before you do that, this is a very, very big thing, you need to know who you're selling to. So using platforms like Amazon to get the reviews, GPT, deep research, asking it to do a deep dive on your product, your niche, who buys, who's likely like customer persona that's going to resonate with this product, understand what their pain points are, what do they truly desire, what's their dream outcome with the product, what kind of language is typically used. If it's a younger demographic, that's going to have a different type of language in the ads compared to an older demographic. You need your content to make them feel understood so that they can make that impulse purchase. And then finally, what problems does your product actually solve? This research is going to define the angles and messaging in your ads. The messaging in your ads should also be congruent with your landing page as well. Your landing page should cover every single thing that your ads talk about as well in terms of pain points, problems and dream outcomes. Next, we need to focus on the creative mix. So you need to have a big diversity in terms of the creatives that you launch or test. So like I said, the AI voiceovers, the TikTok shop videos, the static creatives are all super important. In terms of videos, you need to have UGC, TikTok shop, AI voiceovers, testimonial styles, raw, ugly ads, statics, targeting different pain points and emotional triggers so you could figure out what works best. Whether it be a certain type of a creator, what type of hair did they have, what age are they, how long was the video, what type of music did I use, what was the hook, what was the CTA. These things should all be noted down. You should be keeping this data on a sheet somewhere, on a Google Doc with the like a screenshot of the particular ad, so you actually know what works and what doesn't work. Because every single time you launch a new batch, you actually might just be taking a shot into the dark every single time if you don't do this, because you're just going to be creating ads for the sake of it. I'll give you an example. When we first started out one of our stores that we run until this day, we just came in and made as many different ads as possible. We came in one weekend and we done like 100 ads between us. But actually, did any of these ads actually take spend? No, because we were just focusing on volume, which of course is important because you put the reps in and become better. But you're actually better spending your time focusing on what actually customers want. What do they want to see in your ads? What do they find convincing enough to make the click through to your website? So quality over quantity, I would say, in that regard. Build angles around specific demographics and use cases, and also you need to have a 3-day checklist. So always for tests, we like to run it for like 3 to 4 days, and then from there, like I said, you need to understand what ad sets got the most spend, which angle resonated with customers most, what customer avatar performed best, what formats, was it AI voiceover, was it UGC, was it the statics, was there any ads with strong metrics but no sales? In that case, if it had a low CPC, low CPM, good hook rate, what actually made people watch that but not click through, or they did click through and not purchase? Was it your offer? Was it actually because the video didn't have any CTA? This is all things that you need to take a note of. So what I would do if you do have like an ad that has strong metrics but no sales, try it with a different variation, have an offer at the end of the video, make it slightly shorter, different music, and the key metrics that I usually like to look at are CPA, CPC and CPM. These are most important to me. CPC, are people interested enough to make the click through to your website? That's the first thing you need to get. Is the CPMs low enough so that you could actually scale the product and be profitable? Because if not, then it's impossible. If you've got $100 CPMs, it's going to be super hard to scale. If you do have CPMs that high, I would question the quality of the content. Is it enjoyable? Is it going to be watched? Would you watch it if it came on your feed? These are all things you need to ask yourself, because you can become like super biased on your own store, because as people that are in e-com, we know how the ads should be structured, we know how the website should be, but if you think from a customer's perspective, they might just think your videos are super boring, and if that's the case, no one's going to watch, no one's going to buy. And if your ads aren't converting, like if you have high CPC, high CPM, low CTR, it's most likely that your creative is just not resonating with the customers at all. They do not find it enjoyable. It's something that they'll just scroll past super quick. And that's why I always tell people, go look at what other brands are doing. Even if they're not in your niche at all, always look at what other people are doing in terms of the structure, pacing, type of creators that they're using. Is it like ugly ads? Is it super organic, raw UGC? Always figure out what other people are doing. If you do have good CPC, good CTR, but no sales, it's likely that your offer is the issue or the landing page just looks shit in general. So if you haven't watched my previous video that I just uploaded, I would give that a watch because offer is super important. Most customers, when they do click from ad, they go to your website, of course. The first thing that they're going to see is your offer. So the offer needs to be super good, super clear. They must understand what they're getting when they make the purchase and reduce the friction as much as possible, because like I always say, people are super unaware on your product, your brand. The trust is quite low from a dropshipping type store to a website, because most people would just go to Amazon and TikTok shop where they could get for half the price and actually with next day delivery. So you need to give people a reason to choose from you and make that impulse purchase. But it always comes down to making more content, refining your offer so it's super clear, and probably lastly is improving your PDP. I like to think that this doesn't have the most importance. It needs to be a basic website, super clean, but I wouldn't worry about changing lots of different shit all the time. A lot of people actually do this when they have like a bad day of performance. They'll instantly go to change the website, whereas it's most likely the creative that is the issue. And then finally, creative iteration strategy. Double down on the angles that I've spent the most after those 3 days in the test. Create new variations with different hooks, different CTAs, different lengths, different visuals, B-roll, and then rotate 5 to 10 new creatives in every single week. That's what we do at scale, probably more creatives than this. But in the beginning for you guys, you actually should just be uploading creatives every single day inside a new ad set. If you could get 5 creatives done in one day, good. Upload that in an ad set. If you can only get 10 creatives done every 3 days, do that. It's all about consistently putting content in the ad account as much as possible, and always keep the structure super simple and track which variation wins. You can do that through the ad sets. But in general, always run just a plain CBO and just chuck in lots of different ads, different styles as much as possible. That's essentially it. In terms of scaling, we like to increase the budget pretty slowly, 10 to 20% every 2 to 3 days based on performance. A lot of people like to rush into scaling. They get a few days of maybe good performance, they're slightly profitable, and they just want to fast scale as soon as possible. But it actually is probably not the ideal scenario, because you're going to raise the budget like 30-40%. It's going to go down in performance. You'll be like, what the fuck's going on? You go back in budget, it doesn't do so good, or it does break even, and then you're constantly in your head, you don't know what to do. Be super slow in the beginning, especially if you are just getting into e-com and dropshipping. You're not really going to understand how to scale properly. So base it off 2 to 3 days of performance and then increase your budget to 10 to 20%. We always focus on 3 to 7 day performance windows and not daily swings, like I said. Do not panic scale or panic cut products. Actually, just base your decisions off the metrics on the ad account, off your P&L. Don't be emotional in that sense. Focus on making new creatives, not just your budget, and keep everything inside one CBO, like I said, and constantly refresh your creatives. And then finally, creatives are always going to make ad accounts win. They're the biggest growth factor for your account. It's not your structure, it's not your website, it's going to be the creative. Always. The offer, of course, must make sense for your audience and be visible throughout the funnel. So from product image to bundle box to showcasing what gifts they get with their order, for example. Make it super clear so anyone could understand. And then finally, a simple, repeatable structure will outperform any complicated setup. So with having that one CBO, with new ad sets, having new batches of ads inside each one, then you analyze the performance of each of these. That's going to lead to a much more structured approach where you can actually remove the emotion and ego from it, and then you just look at the metrics and numbers on the screen rather than your own personal opinion. And that's pretty much it. I know this was a quick ramble. Hopefully you found this video valuable and you could take something away from it. If you want to see more videos like this, deep dives on particular topics, we do a lot of that inside the school community that I've just launched. So if you're interested in that, I will leave a link in the description below. But apart from that, I will see you in the next video.